What's up, y'all? How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm also doing quite okay. Oh, I just noticed that they're not really... Oh, it doesn't even matter. I wanted to make this a little bit bigger, but you know, what we need to do today, after, I was gonna say last week, but last week was the first lean coffee of the year. Allee, the real life one. We had some nice talks. Let me see if I can remember what we talked about so that you can get an idea. Here we go. We talked about what our secret wishes and or ambitions were. Someone who stopped believing in Scrum, ... What newfound interests have you found with restrictions lifted now? So that's in Belgium, I think. Specifically, I don't really know. And then the feeling of meh is an emotional state. That's those were our 4 topics that we talked about for a max of 15 minutes. And fun was had. It was really nice. Yeah, so now I'm back to LiveCoding. There was a lean coffee of EasyGam, a first one in fact that started up, but they already had like a bunch of people going there, so I hope that they're having a great time right about now. It was a bit too far for me to go to, and it would have taken me 4 hours total travel time to go there. So I skipped that part. Yeah, maybe something else that I should mention is right now I'm drinking a beer called Kale beer. It's the Kaishaku version. I don't know. They also have an IPA or whatever, and a triple, I believe. And this one is, where does it say it? It's 15% alcohol. It's kind of nuts. I don't really think you can actually see it, but yeah. Believe me when I say it's brutal. So you guys are in for a treat. Let's do this as an experiment to see how I evolve over the night. Skål. It's really good though. It's really, really good. Anyway, a thing I want to do now is continue building our application. There was some point where if you challenge somebody, you can enter what kind of or what type of match you want to play, maybe an indication of when, and then some other comment, and then you can click on challenge and the challenge will be made. So that part I think we finished last time. We've got the scenario tests to back that up, I was gonna say. At least I hope that's still the case. I haven't run these tests yet since I booted, so hopefully they'll run smoothly. Maybe something else I wanted to advertise is that on the 5th of October, I believe it was, there's the first Socrates open space, or Socrates Belgium open space, a real life one in Leuven. Now I'm double checking to see that I'm not lying actually. Gonna post a link. Yeah, it's Tuesday the 5th of October. So click on that link if you want to be there. Spaces are limited. And if you've never done an open space in your life, then I highly recommend you do that, because it's fun times. So one thing, so they are all working, that's great. But one thing I noticed from our to-do message was that we didn't take into account some stuff. Where is it? Incorporate the challenge mode. I think that's the last thing we need to do, in fact, this part. Because the UI form we sort of have already. It's this one. So when you click on challenge, it should be good. Okay. So when we do a challenge player, there's some stuff on here. What exactly a challenger, so that would be me in this case. My opponent is the person that I challenged. A comment, an appointment suggestion, those are those two things. And then here there's a, let's set you up versus, oh, so it should be a name here, of course, but we're not handling errors at all yet. But maybe one of these we should pass along as well. So it's either dual 2v2 wipeout or CTF. I think we can manage that. So to make that happen, let's first change how we expect that thing to behave. So what did we call it again? I had a name for it. Challenge mode. I think in our Elm part we already have it as well. I hope if I X this out, close panel, it'll keep on running. That's nice. So Command Shift E. Okay, let's see if I can remember that. Was it Command B to close it? Yeah, okay. So in the challenge page, we've got some stuff here to transform it into our JSON, but we already have a model, and I believe we've called it. Hey Cordusk, how are you doing? Ah yeah, see, challenge mode. Ah, but we did also call it game mode. What would you call it? This thing. Match type, game mode. What other stuff do we have? Challenge mode, because it's more specifically for challenging someone. Ah, beetje moe. You have a beer. It will help you. If you don't know it, it's drinking Kerel. Kerel beer. Says it all. It's made by Untouched by Monks or something. I forget. They've got an attitude, yeah. It's really nice. 15%. Yum yum. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with game mode, I think, because that's the one that makes the most sense to me for now. So let's call it game mode, and it's gonna be a game mode. And let's just make that thing an enum or something. Should be okay, yeah. So, and I bet I will make it a part of my domain API. That way I don't have to map it constantly. And since we are building a UI just for our domain anyway, I mean, we only have one client, which is the UI. It's fine, and I'm the one controlling it, so I can make that decision, I think. Let's see, challenging. Maybe it's not supposed to be in here. In fact, it's like more common stuff, you know. But for now, I guess it's on challenge. So in game mode, and we'll add the ones from here. There we go. Redundant empty class. Oh, it's just not up to date yet. That's fine. So yeah, I want to be using this one in my or like over here. Now it takes a game mode. Now should stop compiling. Because I think in the challenge request we use in one of our tests in the challenge scenario somewhere. Challenging? Yeah. So while stuff is compiling, I think we already will have found it. Here's the challenge player step. So now we only need to change it in one spot, which is over here. And I guess we should add it to the challenge player step function here, probably. Now we broke something else, namely, or we could just make it a dual by default or something, if we don't really care all that much. Why would we do that? Ah, yeah, it's important. I wonder if we can actually just use it in Jackson just the way that I was doing it, because usually that stuff complains a little bit. So our compilation came back and it only was not compiling there, which is noise. So now it's good actually that we added it here, because now we can also verify it somewhere, so that it's also kept on our challenge itself. Challenge only has 2 things, or what? Okay, now I'm confused. Oh, we only map it to check that comment and the appointment suggestion. What other stuff can we come up with to verify that dual is being saved? Maybe it just doesn't, I don't care about it. Why would I add this sort of game mode? Maybe it's more interesting if we've got rankings per game mode, something like that. But then, yeah, I guess that would make a little bit more sense, huh? Yeah, so you could say like, but then why are you keeping it if you're not doing anything with it for now? I guess it's really just to complete the feature, I guess. Interesting. Very interesting stuff. Because I could totally get away with not adding it. I guess I sort of want to know that it's not just so let's not map it and then just check the comments and the suggestion like we do here. Suggestion, and then we'll also check the game mode, and here we'll just hardcode game module just like that. Ooh, it's not called suggestion or what? Appointment suggestion, my bad. So let's check that or make that a part of challenge as well. So in the challenge or queryable challenge, I believe it's called, yeah, this one, let's just add our game mode, which is a game mode. See if that works. And then we'll need to add it somehow. I guess it's compiling here, but it might not be compiling over here. So if we set it not to Joule but to something else like CTF, then I guess it should compile everywhere, and then we'll have to implement it somewhere. So now I can try to compile it again and it should work, but my test should be failing. Well, I only have one scenario here, or yeah, this one. I wonder why it's trying to, or why IntelliJ wants to compile everything now again. Anyway, run the tests. And then it should fail because it's a different game mode, I guess. Hopefully it will fail on that. Yeah, sorry. So the scenario tests don't run that fast, but they're really complete. There we go. So now we've got just proof that everything was able to be run, let's say. So there aren't any runtime exceptions being thrown. Now we can just make it work. So we already implemented it in the DAO. So let's add that to... God, where did I put that stuff? Maybe in here. So I think I'll just extend this one like I did the other day. Call it game mode. So our table of challenges now has this part, or also has a game mode. And I guess we'll just drop this one. Needs to go into projections DB. we doesn't need trailing commas. Voila ça. And now our challenges table has, if it stops refreshing, it has a game mode. Hooray! So that's nice. We already mapped it to our queryable challenges. Now let's figure out where we need to change that stuff. In the database or in the DBMA layer. Here we don't need to do anything because it just is mapped as you would expect, I hope. That's the stuff that I want to find out. So if we then go look for where this thing is used, it should be in the repository. So aside from the test here, yeah, okay, my bad. So when we do, we want to save it, of course, in some way. So it should be here, that it needs to get bind or bound. So we'll also add game mode, that one. Game mode. And then that'll just be auto bound to the field of queryable challenge. I did run a usage, so when you do repository.save, the queryable challenge is saved, and that will store it in the challenges DAO. So now we also want to map but here, so say game mode is something like, let's fetch it off of the aggregate. This thing doesn't exist yet, so let's add a member property, I think. No, I didn't want that. Then I guess I want to add a constructor parameter. Yeah. That's how you do that. We don't need validation on it because it's an enum. You can only be one of several game modes. That's it. Now this will be broken because when you create a challenge, you need some stuff here. In this case, you also will need a game mode so that we can then pass that one along just like that. Enum not good. Tell me why. Then, since we changed this stuff, we broke some stuff elsewhere probably. And it's in our command to, well, no, it's in the function on a registered player where you can challenge somebody else. Now we need to also introduce the game mode, because you're defining data values in your data structure. MySQL. So I'm not using MySQL's enum. I'm using Kotlin's enum. It's different, eh? An enum is just an enumeration of different types, and that's exactly what so the queryable challenge is really just an object. It's in my table here, it's just a string. So I hope it just works. I'm not sure if that's indeed the case, but we will find out soon enough. So now we also want to add this thing here so that it also becomes clear when you do a challenge of another player. You want to pass along these things, and now that I look at it, it looks quite a lot like the contents of the actual command. And I bet this is being called from the command. There we go. So maybe instead of passing a bunch of things of the command, maybe we can just pass the command to it. So now this needs a game mode, which it doesn't exist yet. And I want this thing here. Okay. And then finally, the place where we build the challenge player would be in our controller. So this gets built in the controller, and here we are finally transforming our challenge request into a command. So we can do just that, and now it should work. So the only thing we did was just pass it along, and we were able to do that because we're using a class of the domain API. So imagine that we had to still do a lot of mapping. Then it would have been mapping from, or in this spot, so from request JSON to command, and then I guess in this spot from challenge to queryable challenge, and vice versa, like we did here. But instead we just use the single object in the domain. So now only this type has been coupled to both the JSON and the database. Here I don't really care, I don't think, about the rest. It's just important that these are the same. Yeah, but I need to... We can just do anything here, in fact. I guess a better way of doing this would have been to supply different kinds or parameters or properties for these so that we don't care about them, and that both of these are an assumption that they're the same. And then only in that case we need to throw this message. I would be surprised if it just works from the first time, because I expect JDBI to be annoying. It just works. Let's find out what's in the actual database, and I'm really curious. Oh, there. Dual, that's it. Just like in game mode itself. Dual. Nice. So the downside now is, of course, if I rename this, none of the stuff in the database is gonna work again. I'm really happy that this stuff worked. So cool. All right, so in the backend, it seems to be running. So we can make a lethal commit. Hashtag new feature. Added game mode to challenges. So you can now, or so we can do it. So we can do something with that extra info at some point in time, like building leaderboards based on the type. But that I don't think we want to do now. We changed quite a bunch of files. It was fast enough. let's commit and then figure out what those warnings are. So in challenging scenario itself, there are some things here. Oh yeah, okay, whatever. So this, I know that that's a thing, so I guess stop complaining. God damn it. I was gonna say at least then it'll stop nagging about this, but now, yeah, of course it's always true. That was the intention. Okay, so that's the backend part. Now let's change the UI part so that we can take that stuff into account. So the game mode is a type. Oh, we're gonna have some fun with that. So somewhere in here, there is the... Shit, I already forgot. It was Command Shift P and then hashtag to search for anything. Oh no, it was like this. Yeah. Perform challenge. Oh, kijk hier. And this is how we Control Shift O. So Command Shift O. Oh yeah. Yeah, we also find it like that. Nice. Oh. Cool. Thanks again. Thanks, Fran. Me neither. It seems to work though. So here we're translating our model into a challenge request, something that our backend understands. Yeah, and we need this stuff now. So the field is called game mode, I believe, and we need to string encode, I hope, our challenge mode. Ah, it's not compiling. View problem. Option F8. Yeah, so we need a way to map challenge mode into a string, I guess. Because I don't think that on encode there is something. Oh, maybe it's ticked. No. Something that is able to translate blah into game mode. We could do this, I think. And then this can just become string. This stuff doesn't exist yet. So let's create one where we take in a game mode and we output a string. Then comes like that, game mode. And we just do a case of, I think. And then we just pattern match, eh? Hula. Cryptomonad, welcome back. Oh, nothing's working now. If it's a dual, then we want to return dual. So now this needs to, or maybe we can just check if it starts compiling like that. Okay, nice. I wish there was like a feature. This feature exactly. Holy shit. Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. and it happens to be really useful as well. What? I don't know, the Option Shift F or something for formatting. Yes. Oh yeah, so done. That would be the UI. So now if I get an actual person again, so we need to log in again first. So that's always a little bit more tricky. So let's navigate to the home page first, then clear all of this bullshit, and then try to log in again. Yeah, and then I remember we've got Carmel, which has a nice password of password. We're now logged in as Carmelite. Not today though, not today. Oh yeah, fuck. We need the ID of Scallop, because we want to challenge that guy. He's such an annoying fella. It's this one. So if we do dummy challenge, but instead of going here, we go here, that should also work. Fuck me. Why is it not working? Ah yeah, okay. We're getting 502s because the server is not running. Funny, stop. Yeah, the magical shortcuts. Okay, so we have to spin up our backend before we can forward requests to our backend from the UI, of course. School, hè? All right, that's the server that has booted. So I get rid of the console stuff, I refresh, and we're getting errors. You're not authorized. Me. Why not? Oh yeah, okay, I think I understand why. So we are logged in, but our application didn't know that, I mean the backend didn't know or couldn't respond with "I don't know you, please enter your name." So now it will. Voila. I vaguely remember redirecting to the home page last time, but I guess we didn't. So then if we do dummy challenge and we update the UUID, voila, set you up versus Scallop. Let's just check a wipeout. Next Wednesday at 8 or something. Come at me, bro. Challenge. Oh, we don't get any confirmation. So there's a 201, which is great. Now let's check in the database. In the challenges. Ise, wipeout begot. Nice, huh? Alright. I love that. That went quite smooth, honestly. Huh? Okay, so I'm still gonna commit with IntelliJ because added game mode to challenge screen. Well, actually, no. Added or incorporated game mode choice on challenge screen to last call. So everything works now. Yay. Voila. And then that is that feature donesies. Okay. Next, successful challenge redirects to the home page. That's really the thing I was missing just now. And then clicking on another player redirects to challenge page. That's going to be the most brutal one. Gordusk, I don't know if you're still in here, but I might need your help. Because in this table is an ordered table, I think, which is a component of Elm-UI widgets or whatever. And this Elm-UI widgets table is not really extensible, let's say, because I just want a simple thing for these things to be clickable so that they are UI links. But you cannot do that because, let's see again, how did you do... there was a way to show all of the functions in this part. So anyway, we're in the view challenge header. No, this is the challenge screen, I think. We want from the main page, so we should be in home, bottom left outline. So that means that there should also be yes, nee, outtent. Nee, that's not. Oh, I don't know. Bottom corner outline. That's Git. Don't know. Oh, this part. Dumbass. Yeah, sorry. I was looking for like a button that would open up. Man, this is the exact thing I was looking for. So I want to check. Thanks. Thank you for your forgiveness. Yeah, in the home page, I think it is. Because main is the layout and then home is really just the table. So here in the leaderboard table, we are using, to render the leaderboard, a widget sort table. That was it. And we've got some columns here and then a way to render them. But they always take a toString function. So that's just how you need to render it. But I don't want a toString function. I want a way to customize how it gets rendered, so not toString, if you know what I mean. Maybe it's just not string column, but something else column. Wait, F12. String column. We've got button columns. And do we also have implement your own column? Oh yeah, something that renders into a column, I guess. How does that work? Yeah, so why not do it yourself? Because I'm lazy, that's the main one. You still can't code, but if you need VS Code tips, your PayPal is the Gordusk. Okay. Yeah, the task seems too daunting, honestly. Maybe we can change it into something else. because column A is just, it's a way to render a string. But they do delegate or something. How does that work? So they redirect to SortedTable dot string column. But where is SortedTable? It's a different module. Can you? Okay, maybe it's an SortedTable. Okay. Internal SortedTable. Ah, shit. So here is how they render. No, the column types, I guess. And a column type only. This goddamn mosquito, I am. It has a title, but it does take a column type too. And that thing can only be one of these. I guess that's fine because that's the way it sorts. But can you also change the way it's rendered, maybe? Or does it use the column type to render itself? Here's content. I think that's it now. Content. Yeah, no. Value. How is it rendered? Yeah, it needs specific types, I guess. Or that's just the data, but then here in column, here's the view, how your view gets rendered. And then the value is mapped to the toString thing, and then it's being put into an element text. So this is the thing I want control over. I guess it's a bit... I mean, why not just add a new column type or something and then have that be configurable? I don't know. It's not clear if value returns a string or HTML. Yeah, you can't slap tags in there because the way that Elm renders HTML is through its view function, and that's probably how like the view function will be delegated to use this one somehow. So this is really how it gets rendered, always in an element.text. So we can't use SortedTable at all. That sucks. That's like the major downside of Elm, I think, is that the lack of widgets or like components or whatever, and they just provide you with like a very general Elm-UI library, I guess. I think it's this one that I'm using. Not sure what this thing is. Maybe yet another Elm-UI library. So here they really just changed concepts basically. Yeah, I don't think I will be doing that crypto monad. I don't feel confident. Did change their README 4 months ago. But there is also this thing, which honestly looks a bit more like a thing I want. This is an actual component library, you see. I don't remember looking at this last time. Do they have a table or a grid? Usually it's called a grid or something. Table, grid. Wait, does Elm do type classes? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Oh yeah, yeah. Or I get rid of Elm-UI at Cordusk. Can always do that as well. Then we're in for a hot mess tonight. I assume you mean Haskell type classes, huh? Cordusk. Yeah, I don't really know if that has this. Would you really take CSS over anything? I will take ease of development over... That's a difficult, even overstatement. Yeah, I don't know. I just want I just want something that works well, and that's supported by more stuff. And I don't have that feeling. I don't have the feeling that MD Griffith's Elm-UI thing has that. You know, if you look at this is a lot. But it's still, maybe it's container or something? No. Tabs, that's not what I want either. Yeah, so this doesn't have a table, huh? Your layout needs major pimpage. This is true, yeah. Yeah, maybe it is worthwhile writing wrappers then. I'm amazed that there's no table. Pager? No. Constraint type variables, okay. I really wouldn't know the difference because I don't know Haskell very well. I also have the feeling like any kind of language or jargon, let's call it, of functional programming has so many implications that I don't know of because I just don't know any functional programming that well, that I don't even want to say that, oh yeah, it's just a type type aliases or types in Elm that's the same as type classes. So I really don't know. I know that you can refer to things as like a generic type, but I didn't know you could. I don't like, as you can see, it's not really. It won't work doing this because these are all generics, I think. I'm not really sure, in fact. Maybe I will read this at some point. I still don't have a feeling that I have got a good grasp on monadic types even, so I mean this is now you know my level of functional programming. I don't have a full grasp on monadic types. I know the term, but I can't really explain them that well. That's about it. And please don't give me that quote of monadic types or applicatives of the endofunctors or whatever the thing was again. It's like the meme, the functional programming meme. Interfaces for types. Ah, yeah. Ah, I see. Yeah, that I don't think you have in Elm though. So. Why couldn't the page that I was just reading have this as a description? That would have been great. But yeah, so anyway, that table widget is gonna be a beta. Yeah. Indeed. Yeah, I wouldn't even have thought about how to actually implement it. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I understand now. Oh, thank you for explaining it. It's helpful. But maybe the first thing we can do is instead of clicking on another player, is doing this. Just redirecting to the home page. Then we're getting features. We're getting features, friends. So let's get rid of these files because they don't matter, at least not now. Okay, I will use the outline thing again because on the return of got perform challenge response, so this one. Yeah, we're not doing anything. So here I want to redirect to the home page again. Redirect to home. Don't know if I need a model. And yeah, I guess this we also only want to do on a success, so maybe we should include that result here. Huh? So let's do case of result. And now we do Alea. How come that doesn't work? I think it's okay or something, and then blah. We do redirect to home, and else we don't do anything because lazy. This doesn't exist yet. See you later, Cordusk. Oh, I'll make sure to check out the link. Wacht, hè. A normal widget library. Is there such a thing? Okay. Ooh. Holy smokes. This seems quite exhaustive. Yes. I hope this table allows. See, voila, cake. They support a way to transform into something that Elm understands into an HTML thing. Yeah. And then using Elm-UI's HTML message to element message, I don't think will work that easily, in fact. I can give it a shot. Thanks for the tip. I'll make sure I keep it here somewhere. Okay, then what was I doing? Changing stuff, redirecting to home. Shit, I think I do need the model because I will need the key for that, I think. You have to do something like nav by push URL. I always forget. I guess the redirect to home is something that we want to use in multiple places, because we want to use it in registration, I think, after that's successful. Yeah, and then I remember now, the button in home, there is some kind of a button. View challenge button. This one, challenge button clicked. So in the update function, where we do challenge button clicked, we do push URL, and then we use key and then this kind of stuff. So maybe this can, without slightly modified, let's say, we can make a navigate to home function. But where do I put it? Maybe in a new file called navigation or something? Util? I hate util. Main? No, because main has its dependencies forking out everywhere, and it's not the other way around. You don't want to have a dependency on main. So we could, what's up with this? Oh, then get rid of it. Sure, we can make a new file, but yeah. One step at a time, Tim. I always have to remind myself of that. Okay, so it should look like that. And then relative. I don't think I want to use relative. It should be... because relative, let's say that we are on the challenge page and we use relative. That would mean that there's /challenge / blah blah blah, and then / whatever you put behind it, I think. Unless... oh, I guess we don't want to pass any... oh, and this also only returns a command. So maybe... that should be it. And now we just need to import this. No? How does it work? Oh, it wasn't home. Where does this thing live? Oula, in URL builder, but Okay. Where's navigation? Over here. So like that. Oh, I already forgot the shortcut. Last edited pointer. Yeah. Wing, what the fuck? Command key, Command Q. That doesn't do anything. Over here. Okay. Yeah, so I don't want to import that at all, so let's just not do that. I think that should be okay, I'm not really sure. I hope this works. And otherwise, yeah, relative is not the thing I want. Maybe absolute then. And just forward to the root. I think that should work, maybe. Let's try it out. I think we might still have it in our browser memory, no? What's the problem? Ui, unauthorized. I guess my token expired or something. And let's memorize that URL or keep it in the buffer, then log in. Then of course we're still logged in as Karmeliet. We navigate to the challenge page. We're challenging Scallop here. We're doing 2v2 next Tuesday at 7. And then I will have to decline that one because I will be live coding. Add me on Discord, you noob. We do a challenge and then hopefully we'll be redirected. Son of a bee. We did not get redirected. Oi. I can't even open this. That's interesting. Can I open it here? I can. That's also interesting. Okay, let's so I've got the thing open next to me, yeah. Okay, see, it's still working. Exciting. What will happen if I click challenge? We did get perform, but there wasn't a URL push event that took place. Ooh, maybe it's not an okay that we get or something. No, I can't actually do anything to the... It just stalls. Yeah, okay, so I wasn't using the right thing, I guess. So maybe let's try relative then. See what that does. Allez, relative. Okay, maybe if I press enter, it will overwrite. Let's see what this does. that's it. Okay, there we go, fixed it. I think we also want to do that now when you're successfully logged in. So let's move this to its own home. Something like that maybe, and then we'll just add a new file called navigation, where we'll put this. Oops. Okay, and then we want to import both of these. And I don't really care about this, I guess. Do I? As long as it has a key property, which is, this part is important, I think. That's all I need. What, really? So import navigation. We need to expose some stuff. I don't remember if that's in the correct place. Oh, it needs to be like this. Module navigation. Bam. Save. It doesn't need to find it. Oh, it's in the wrong folder. Okay. That explains it. Voila. Yeah, I guess I don't need the exposing part now anymore. Do I? Because I'm directly referencing it. And now we can inline this. I wonder if there's a thing for that. Inline. Oh, trigger inline suggestion. That's not it. Okay. I wish Cordusk was still here. He would have known. Voila. Okay. And it should still work, I hope. Ui! Oh yeah, we need to, because so when you add new files, the what's the thing called again? The live reload doesn't know it. And I don't know what it was. Terminal. There should be an existing terminal. This is the remote thing. Doe maar na. There is a way to so I don't want to create a new one. Navigate. Open. Show. View. Focus on terminal view. Okay. What opened here? Something like debug console and stuff. Anyway, so let's just restart this one and then we're good to go. Should have opened that elsewhere. Oei, wat nu? Cannot find a navigation redirect home variable. Oh, that's inside navigation. Yeah, that is quite correct. It's weird that it was compiling, honestly. There we go. Build succeeded. Now it should still work, so if we go to, no, back, forwards. Oh, it's still here. If we go here, you do another CTF one. Challenge, voila, it still works. Nice. Okay, so that's already a nice commit, and now we'll just use it in the registration screen as well, because here when you say got register player response, I think that's when you click on register. Ah, here. What the fuck? Redirecting to register screen. I think we're already doing that now. We're already doing that. Isa. Okay, so here they are clearing every... Okay, that makes a little bit more sense, honestly, because you want to clear the new model or the existing model. Oh, we can do that. So if we say refreshed model, we just do that. So let's do let in, we say, sometimes those suggestions are in the way. Refreshed model equals this part, and then I want to do navigation dot redirect to home using model. Refreshed model, and we're Gucci. We are handling API errors here. I am still not actually handling stuff. I think we did that so that we could see an error or something. I forget. Yeah. But I think that should be it. So the moment we log out again, or actually we can log, let's go, no, because register player response. So that's unsuccessful register. So when we don't know you yet. Okay, so let's do, we'll get rid of these, and I want to log in someone new, so I'll have to go to my local keycloak and end the session after I log in as Bruce who still love bets. Oi. Oi. Oh, my bad. So sessions, and we'll just log out all, and that way Karmelit's session is gone. Then when we press login, because we're not logged in at all, we can log in as Mr. Rat. Oh shit, I forgot. I think it was this. No, then it's Mr. Yeah. So the moment Mr. Rat joins the fray, we will be redirected to the home page. Bam. And there, welcome Mr. Rat, happy fragging. Nice. That's cool, and now we've got a reusable feature. Oh. Let's commit that stuff, honestly. So we want to add that part as well, and we say redirecting after successful registration and successful challenge. We push this. Okay, now we can choose to do this part, which needs a bit of rework. Or we can stall and do something else. Let's think lazily. So really what we want here is we just want a sort of a ranking. Yeah? No one is ever gonna... Actually, it's really stupid. Huh? No one will ever want to change the order of the ranking, I guess. Like, who's interested in who is last? It's just not fair. I don't want to be that website that shows the last people. Like, I don't want to be a griefer, I guess. The thing I don't really get is why they're... Ah yeah, of course they're number 1 and number 2 because Karmelit has been challenging Schelp all this time. And we are rewarding players for just challenging anyway. So this is why Karmelit is ranked number 1. And RGM3 has no rank because they haven't challenged anyone yet. This is, by the way, still fixed stuff. Don't really care about that. But clicking on someone's name to challenge them might be a good idea. Then we can get rid of the dummy challenge button. Yeah, so I was thinking if we're not gonna do this, then we might as well just not make it a table because it's not useful to us, right? Clicking on nickname doesn't even do anything. Here it's the same. So we are rendering tables, but these aren't actually tables. Maybe that's why there's no table component to be found anywhere. guess what you want to have though is to have this stuff aligned with that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I can think of some other features where sorting is interesting as a component. So it just happens to be my use case that it's not really interesting to have that. Yeah, it's good news. Then we can just replace this stuff with another view that renders a list of players, and then we can just choose our own way of rendering this. Let's do that, yeah. Or do you still want to check out these components? Because I've realized I don't need a sortable table. I think the only reason why I'm using a sortable table is because it's a table component, and I thought it was gonna win me some time. Okay. Do they have a regular table? No, just a sortable table. And this is just a way to render something custom, but okay, let's just try rendering it the way we want to. I think the sortable table thing is the only dependency that we have in no, sorry, what I was trying to say is there's this Elm-UI, this stuff, but then there's Elm-UI widgets, and that one has like a bunch of other crap. Ah, yeah, now okay, I'm starting to remember some stuff. I think the benefit of this part is that you can pass a palette to a button, and then use the palette to change your UI. Basically, that was the idea of that part. But I think there's more stuff using Elm-UI. Still an experimental page when this person wrote this. Yeah, people just end up writing their own frameworks. This always seemed interesting, and the tailwind, I wanted to learn that. And they just made a translation of Tailwind CSS into Elm so that you can, yeah, like this, use it in a safer way. So instead of using the CSS basically, okay, whatever. Yeah, I think the only component or the widget I'm using is the table, and I hope I wrapped all of them. Doesn't look like I did, of course, because then I just knew immediately. Of course I didn't do that. I guess we can just find where we have dependencies on. So not in here apparently. And not, here, a widget material. I think it's for the challenges, indeed. Okay, so maybe the first thing I will do is to say, here the model is, we're just rendering pending challenges. That's one part. And then a way to render which columns you wanted. So that could be this part. So maybe both of them I want to sort of expand on. Because that would be the interface is what I'm trying to say. Huh? So if I want to extract this into a base sort table or whatever, or base table, then it would take pending challenges and then maybe a way to render columns or something like that. And then I've got the same features that I had before, so just how to render the text basically. Maybe the title and then the way to render it. I don't care about that. Ascending, sorting. On change, never implemented that stuff. Did I use it elsewhere? Nope. So that's challenge. Then we've got main. Are we using that in main? Just typography. Don't know why. Okay, nowhere. Here, the H1. I also don't know why. Or why it's in widgets. I don't really get. But yeah, it's fine. So that was main. So we've got challenge covered, main covered, navigation is just component stuff. Registration, there wasn't anything in there, so that leaves base, which we didn't use any widget stuff in. We just wrote our own palette. Security is just util stuff, so that leaves us with a home. So both challenge and home use that fucking table. Voila. So we need some way to render multiple columns. The list itself that we want to render. And then these are just the ways to render that stuff. I don't care about the rank to string bullshit, man. Do I? I guess. We could do it for one and then see how we can move it around. Okay, so let's just try to make a base component called table or whatever. Me. So my approach, I guess we've got two approaches. So either we first wrap this one so that we can then refactor it to use the base table. So that means our base table sort of has the same interface that we use here, but only the thing that make it specific. So it would be the content and then how to render your columns and in which order they should be rendered, basically. That's it, I think. And the titles that you give them. Because I think value, yeah, is something that we're blah 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 that takes it into a string. So that's one idea is to first wrap it. The other idea is to just transform both of them and then see what's the same and extract that into our own table component. So I think I'll just, because it's only two tables that we have right now, here and then here, they're exactly the same. And these I think we also render in the challenges component anyway. So let's just transform this. And that's it. Then we don't have an order table. Okay. Do we want to put it underneath there first so that we can compare or what? Nah. Nah, dude. Let's just do it. Maybe take a screenshot or something stupid. Now I'm doubting. I'm constantly doubting myself. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Hate me. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Okay, so to render the leaderboard, we no longer want this crap. Ooh, that would be another way to do it, is by first coming up with a way to render it ourselves in our base component. Because then we make it generic from the start. That sounds like a really bad idea, Tim. So let's not do that. So how do we write or render that using the UI stuff, huh? So I guess first we want some kind of a header stuff, maybe? I don't know. How do you render that? UI.header element. That's the other thing. I don't really know the UI library that well to render a table, so maybe we should just look at the Elm-UI library itself. Yeah, this one. So we don't want an UI, an input element. We want rows and columns. So we want one row that has, I don't care about the attributes just yet, but I want a list of elements to be rendered, and those elements need to be columns, I guess, huh? Right? And it's gone. Kerelbier. Oh, they have it. They have a data table. These are not the widgets, right? It's just a regular table. Start with a list of records and specify how each column should be rendered. That sounds a lot like what I want. Ise! Alrek! Keeping his record. Thanks for the dono. €1. I didn't really. EDC 2021. Cheers, mate. Oh, I only now forget that we need to talk. Let's say we do that after the stream if you're still alive. I'm stopping at 10. And we can talk. What are we coding? And still the same project. It depends when you last watched, I guess. We are coding a challenge app, a challenge website basically, where you can challenge other players. We're remaking Gunpowder. There, you will understand. But in this case, it's gonna be really interesting because we don't know yet what we want to reward players for. So the idea there is the idea is that we want to regenerate a leaderboard based on any arbitrary rules basically, so that we can incentivize players in a certain way. So if you say we want players to be playing a lot of times, it might be worthwhile to give them points based on how many challenges that they did, or like how many matches that they played, and then just give them a ranking based on that. So that's an idea, and to do that we need a lot of information about all of the stuff that happens in the system, and that's why we're choosing for an event-sourced approach. So when a player registers, it'll throw a player registered event. Then when they challenge another player, same thing goes here. When then in the domain they accept it, same thing happens here. And then they submit it, blah blah blah. And this is the kind of these are the kind of events that a most challenges done leaderboard would be interested in. And every so often, those leaderboards get recreated, and it'll generate or project a new leaderboard basically, and that's the thing that is shown in here. And this is exactly the table that we want to redo now, because the component framework that I'm using now doesn't allow me to update or to modify how this is getting rendered. And I just found out that we can just use element.table to do actually just that. So yeah, I really don't remember why I wanted this one, the Orasund Elm-UI widgets part. I have no idea, but it's no longer useful, so we just want this one. It's indeed event-driven architecture, and I think I've got like another great explanation somewhere. Yeah, here's it. This shows how all of the components separately, so not within their own modules, are working together to do that. So this registration component is a UI component, and it sends a call to /API/register with some content in it. Our registration controller picks it up, then it's gonna do a bit of a query using CQRS. We are also using CQRS, of course. No, I did not mean cars. It's a command query responsibility segregation. where we just hit a repository that does a lookup in the database and then returns it, just to check if the player doesn't already exist with this name, for example. So once that happens, I'll send out a register player command. It'll get handled by this registration command handler, which then registers the player. And when that result comes back successfully, it will throw a domain event called player registered, which will be broadcast to anyone listening. The moment that happens, there's a domain event to broadcast event mapper, which then translates those domain events into events that leaderboards are interested in. So this is a different context. So that's the main part here, is everything in green is the management bounded context. This is infrastructure. This is as well. This is part of the adapter, or so we're also using clean architecture and stuff. But then gets put on the event store, and then we just poll to recreate any kind of leaderboard, basically. And this is really cool, this feature, because I can just duplicate this as many times I want for any specific kind of leaderboard. And the rules we just need to define in those policies itself. Neat, eh? That's what we've got set up. So all of that stuff is working already, yeah? So when a player logs in, all of that stuff works. Oh, and really cool, we also have scenario tests that verify all of that stuff. So I'm also doing a bit of an experiment where I'm trying to write less unit tests and more bigger integration tests. That way I can more easily refactor a bunch of stuff and only run like this unit test, or this scenario test, and it should verify that everything still works as before. So first and here we are creating two clients, so to simulate that there's two people that are registered, both me and then RGM. Then we register both players using their own clients, and then Scallop is gonna challenge RGM. And now that I look at this could be a little bit better. We could keep the player ID to Scallop's client or something like that. And then we say, I expect a success. And then the moment that happens, we're gonna go to the challenge, just to the database to try to retrieve it, and then do some assertions on that so that we check persistence works. And then we also check that the event stream has the correct or the expected events on it. And if we manually trigger the leaderboard to be rehydrated and to do the projection, that the leaderboard is also updated accordingly. Cool, eh? And then this is what the scenario is called. So I have to do a lot of stuff to verify that, but you can just run this one and know that everything is still working, which I really enjoy having. And maybe this is also an interesting part. So we've got two bounded contexts, let's call it. They both are using clean architecture in nature, but they're reusing a bit. So I'm being also pragmatic of that stuff at the same time. But that's probably best explained using this part. So we've got a core and a core API in both leaderboard and leaderboard API. That's really this and this basically. So the core domain and its API, and then the leaderboard core domain and its API. They talk using Spring application events. And then there's a bunch of different adapters, ones that drive it and ones that are being driven by it. And how the dependencies lie, I guess, is also in here. But everything is just booted in one single Spring Boot application. So even the UI is just copy pasted and then statically served by a Spring Boot application. And authentication is done externally. I'm running a Keycloak in a Docker container so that I can test it. And then we can just replace it with Epic Games OIDC or whatever. That should still work. I have not tested it or anything, but yeah. I think that's about it. And this is the stuff I've already done. So I spent a lot of time getting security sort of correct. It's still not really great. And we're now working on challenging other players. And this is the last thing that we still need to do for that. And everything else is still done. So that's what we're working on now. And I was about to make a component for this thing in my own base module and then try that out. But now I read that we can just use this. Oh, you might not have a list of records directly in your model. In this case, it can be really nice to write a function that transforms some part of your model into a list of records before feeding it into element.table. And we already have that as leaderboard. Eh? So instead of doing this, maybe we'll just use... Did I copy this now? Yeah, I did. So let's do leaderboard sort table or whatever, and then regular leaderboard, which should look like that. This needs imports. Persons, it doesn't exist, so we'll do model.leaderboard, and then we'll keep a rank and nickname, I think it was, and it's not a person but a leaderboard entry. I forget what we call that thing. Let's just call it entry or whatever. And then not first name, but rank, I guess. And then nickname. Ooh, oh, it seems to have copied or not pasted enough. Bam. Fill, I don't know. It's probably coming from UI.fill. Voila. Alright, I was gonna say it looks like it's compiling, but it's not in fact. Needs the first argument to be what? Wasn't it called leaderboard? Yeah, it is. We do have a leaderboard, I thought, on the model. Oh. Huh? Okay, what does our model look like then? Dude, it's a leaderboard. Of leaderboard entries, just a list of leaderboard entries, and leaderboard entries have a rank and a nickname. I don't understand why it's complaining. It looks like it's a bit incomplete now. Because now it's returning an element message, and I think this one is also outputting element message. I wonder why. We're just passing the model through. Rank and nickname we're using, which should be available. Yeah, maybe we can just add the, what's the thing called again? So this is outputting an element. Leaderboard. So I'm gonna try to add type annotations to it. So it takes our model and it's gonna output an element of, don't really know the A yet. The message. So this one. Okay. It's a different element. It's not UI.element, but it's this one apparently. Still not compiling, but at least now the top part is compiling. This is complaining. Why? Expected a list of leaderboard entries, but that's really what a leaderboard is. And then columns would be a list of columns, but instead it's a list of items that have a header with a view, etc. I think maybe it's because rank is not a string. That's a bit sad. Let's go back to where model is at. Leaderboard entry. Yeah, it's a maybe int. Okay, that's why. Oof, tricky. So do we have something for that? Yeah, I guess we want to transform a rank into maybe with default. Oh, and we have to translate it into an empty string if it's nothing. We also have to translate the integer. How does with default work again? I really forget. Oh yeah, so the default would be to not render anything. And then the next part would be how you need to... Oh, come, I just want to type information. Yeah, balls. We need to map it first. And map, I already forgot how that works. So that's toString, and I think it's on int to string. Nee. Parse string? Fuck. From int. So maybe it's yeah. Okay. Crazy stuff. So, and now everything is compiling. So what was wrong is element.text is expecting an actual string input or something like that. And instead we were inputting a maybe of an int. So now we are first mapping that int or the maybe of an int into a maybe of a string using the from string function. And then finally, we're just translating the maybe of a string into a string. So unwrapping it basically using a default of blank. So obviously we need to put this somewhere proper, but at least it's compiling. And because it's compiling, here we go. I was gonna say it should be rendering it, but apparently that's not the case. Strange. Like we don't have a let's use the sort table again. Okay, so this is also not coming up with anything that then we know that it's not because of our UI. Yeah? Okay, so we've got a 401 unauthorized, so I guess I need to do something about my expiration. I even completely logged out. Let's log in as Carmelite again. Yeah, whatever. And now we just refresh and hope that everything is fine again. There we go. Now we change it back to using the leaderboard. And here we go. Voila. Now we just need to render this in a better way. Make it a little bit closer together maybe or something like that. Well, it's already looking normal. Now I've got full control over this stuff, so that's cool. So I guess we could get rid of this now. They use the same stuff like UI.width, etc. What? So I did the Option Shift F and now it's dead. Huh? What does it change over here? It gets rid of URL builder for some reason. Oh, and then import element is also gone. So the place where you do element, so all of this should be UI dot. Okay. That's fine. Then what? We should probably translate this a little bit, huh? So rank as string, or maybe? I don't know. Yeah, maybe we want like a specific table for this, like a leaderboard table, for example. Then I would have that function. So if I don't have that module now, I can still have that function, but then just write it here. No? So rank as string. Okay. Don't really like that the header is a simple text. It doesn't need to be, that's the thing. So now I can render rank the way I want, in fact. So if I just say I want to render a rank as a column header, for example. And I want to do the same here. Then I can write a function column header of title, I don't know. And we can just render it like that. We've refactored it, and now we can just change the way column headers are rendered. Using maybe not text, but yeah, I don't fucking know. UI.text, so not UI text, but font. Can you do that? Can we just try that, huh? So instead of UI.text, let's do BAM. And then everywhere there, where it says element dot, we replace it with UI dot, and then font, I guess we import or something. UI.font. Okay, so let's go do them all. No, let's import element.font as font, and then that should be Gucci. And now my headers should be red or something, I forget already. A bit different, but you know. And that's the default. Or the thing I just copy pasted. Open sans with this RGB blue 1, font size 18. It's already looking a little bit different. And now we probably don't want to fill the width of rank, but I don't know. Don't want to fill. None, I think, is the alternative, but I don't know what it is. Okay, so maybe it's not none, but right, move right. Nee, that's alignment. Okay, what does fill do? It returns a length. What other types of length do we have? Shrink. Sounds good. So if we do shrink and we pad a little bit or something. And do we do that on the header then, or? Because these are all just attributes, and I think we can say UI dot padding or something. Padding. I also wonder what fill portion means. And padding. But then we've got like all of the boxes. X and Y is top and bottom, and each is, don't know. More explicit. Yeah. So you just update one. Okay. Don't want to do that yet. Well, I like the style of this one, so the type completion is not there yet. So we've got top right, bottom left, top 0, bottom 0, left 10, I don't know, right 0. That's already nicer. And then we need to apply the same style of the scrap to the entries here as well. So instead of column header where we apply this kind of stuff, I guess what we also want to do is make a UI L so that we can pass some what's the thing called, attributes, and now we've got the same padding. What and for rank we want to do the same, so that would be UI L with this stuff and apply that result. Okay, and maybe it's nicer if we move it to the right. I don't know how to do that. Can you do it something like align or something? UI.align, align right. Hello? Is it left then? No. It should be right. I don't understand why it's not working. Can we skip the UI text thing? No. Maybe UIL doesn't or is not alignable or something. I don't know. So maybe instead of L we use paragraph. Then you don't need the UI text thing anymore. Shit. So we want a list, huh? Guess we can do that. As a child element, that's also not doing anything. Jung. Don't know. Let's try just doing align right or something. See if that works. No. Okay, then my CSS skills are leaving me out to dry. I'm so sorry. Oh my. But we already made some nice progress, huh, honestly. So what we could do now is instead of using the regular colors, we could maybe and we could also prefix this with like a hashtag or something. That's super easy. He said while doubting himself. Oh yeah, fuck. So if it's... Okay, so let's move that into the rank as string bit, then it just makes sense. So that would be the int, and then we say apply string from int onto I. And after you've done this, then also pass that onto can you do that? Guess I want something like string append or something. Oh yeah, here. And I think the first one is, yeah. Oei, oh man toch. See, I don't understand why I'm still unauthorized now. Ah yeah, wait, I do know why. The cookie doesn't get overridden. Now it will get overridden, and we should have... Voila. There we go. There's probably a more elegant way to write this. I just don't know. And I think that's fair. So screw this leaderboard sort table crap. We no longer need it. That's nice, huh? So I guess we've got the leaderboard table now. Or component. So the thing I wanted to do next, I think, because this is like the padding that we want to be set for both things here. Now I think I want to render these a little bit differently. And I wanted to use, where's that font thing? Here, column header. I do have in base some, I've got a palette here or something. Yeah, voila, here. And I think what I want to do is use this palette somehow. And maybe we want, do we want primary or something? Oh, and then, oh, IntelliJ has this nice feature where if you use this, it will show what color it is in the gutter. That's a nice, always a nice feature. There might be a feature like that for VS Code, but I just don't know it. Okay, so maybe doubting myself constantly. Yeah. Let's move this into a leaderboard table component. So that would mean moving all of this in there, I think. And I'm gonna leave that stuff here for now. I will say leaderboard table or something, and just pass the leaderboard to it. And then this one can be a base component. And then we'll just put a leaderboard component here. Did I call it table? Yeah. Oy, 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 oy. So no, it's turning a leaderboard into a UI element. So something that has a rank, which is a maybe int, and something that has a nickname, which is a string, and this needs to be a list. Oh shit, I forgot how to leave it like that. Oh, I forgot the colon. Okay, so I don't need that. This is a string import. Okay, and now we just use that one. Oh, maybe first expose it. Voila. And then I guess we can leave that there, right? Okay, so now we just extracted the leaderboard component into its own thing, or own component, and we can make it a little bit more. Like making it a little bit better. Ah yeah, so that was the idea. We can use the palette now. So instead of using UI.rgb, we can say use. Oh, it should take a palette, I think. That's probably why. So if we pass it a palette, then we can use it to check. Because I only want this thing to be the interface to the outside world. So that means we need to pass the palette to column header as well. And then here we can use palette dot primary. And then we don't touch the font family. Oh yeah, we need to make sure that we pass along the correct palettes. Do we already have a palette here somewhere? Yeah. Okay, material, but that's not the one I wanted. I also misspelled palette. Palette. What's the problem? Oh, already defined. I think we're actually using the contrasted palette. Shows what I know, or they both of these colors are just the same. It can be also the case. At least now it's a bit more consistent, eh? Looking good, looking good. So maybe we need a different way to show it, like to make it stand out a little bit, because primary looks not great. Or we just change primary. Makes sense that those buttons match this color here, I guess. Ah, yeah, they are both the same. I think I use it in main or something. Yeah. It's of course also not really smart of me to do it. Oh my god. So the header is using the contrasted palette, but here the regular view is using the regular palette. Zeg. And the footer, yeah, that's probably not something I intended to do, eh? I want one palette where I said this is like one color, this is another color, and then if you want a contrast or something, you just flip these or whatever. Okay, so my palette is not really great. I guess that we can work on that, huh? I guess this is sort of how you do your type classes. You define your contract using this, and then you just define more specific versions of it by adding these, but you still keep the type, but you don't really use it that well, I think. Yeah. How are we gonna call that? Highlight it? Highlight? I think if we open this in IntelliJ, that we still get the same result. Let's see, base.elm. We still get the gutter info. Oh, bastard. Not even. I don't know how to write RGB. Okay, let's do it with a color picker or something. We can do that. I was correct. Damn, I would have expected there to be a color picker somehow. Maybe it's easier if you use it on a button or something. Alright, here. Okay, here we go. Just use that one. And then we just keep it or something. Highlight. Go. Now we don't need to update the palette here. Or the highlight, I mean. Now we need to say that we want to use a highlight color, of course. In home. No, we added it in base. So here instead of primary, use highlight. Voila. That looks nicer, huh? At least I think so. Now of course we're logged out again, or not logged in again, I should say. think the calls happen in the wrong order. Because the leaderboard gets fetched before our user info is returned. Because here we do the info and then we should do a leaderboard update again. So now it should be okay. This is why a refresh fixes this. So that's probably some bug that we need to fix, huh? Ah, nee, I think, okay, I think I remember. It's because there's no guarantee. We use cmd.batch and there's no guarantee in the order of which calls are executed. That's why. Okay. All right, this looks amazing. So now do we want to update the recent matches thing as well, or do we just go for clicking on the players now? Because then nickname is not gonna be enough. Then we need to generate links on that. And that doesn't really seem like it's a base component anymore. Eh? Maybe the header stuff and the fact that it needs to be... Oh, we need to remove this duplication. Damn it. So copy, then I want to replace it and we'll call this leaderboard table padding or something, and then board table padding equals this. Voila. And the size of the font we probably also want to define in a palette or something, or like a general style or whatever, to give it like a proper name. Eh? Then we've got like a table, a header, or and then a table entry, something like that, or body font. And then we're actually making our own components, and it looks nice. Yeah, maybe UI element or Elm-UI isn't bad at all. Sorry. Maybe what we can do is add, say something like to do, maybe move to its own module, like leaderboard table or something. You might ask the question, why not now? And the answer is because I don't feel like it. Nah. I have to think about how dependencies work and stuff, so So let's keep it in a leaderboard table, and then the moment we transform this one into another table, then we might look at what is duplicate and change it then. But for now, we can totally do this. So the nickname, that's not really all that we want, because in our leaderboard table, we are rendering a leaderboard, and a leaderboard is a list of leaderboard entries, and leaderboard entries have a rank and a nickname, but now we also need their IDs. So player ID. Ooh, we already have that. Nice. Fuck, I don't want to import it from challenge. So it's a string. Maybe we should move that to API or something. Okay, so now that we know that we need it, what? That's interesting. I really thought that because we just say we want a list of any object that has at least these two, or do you say, I think it's like this. That's the way you say it. Yeah, okay, that's better. So anything that has these fields, basically. Don't care about, do I care about main? Sure, maybe. But in any case, it's not getting filled correctly. So our decoder should become a map 3 now, because we want an additional thing. And it should be, I don't know actually, player ID. And I hope that it's a string. Now I'm not sure, because we should look at the contract of player info in the thing here. That would be in our REST API. It's in the leaderboard. Oh no, we just have nicknames. Shit. We've got a protected player. Maybe it can be as easy as it's dot player ID. Nee. Fuck. Ja, rekte. Okay, so now the next question arises. Do we keep the ID on the events? I really hope so. I really hope that we do. Because these are just projections, huh? So So our Elm code is compiling, but we won't get the response. So our JSON doesn't have a player ID yet. So let's change that. So I don't think we can import anything here because it's it doesn't have a dependency on the domain of core, on the core domain, which is good, because we don't want those two to be intermingled. But the player ID seems like something that you want though, even in the leaderboards API. Here we do have a player ID. It's a UUID. Okay. So on the broadcast events, we do have those IDs, so that's good. We do also keep the nickname. It's a bit redundant, I guess, but that's fine. It should not compile now, because I added some stuff. We've got a partial, so this is the way that the leaderboard is generated. And the partial, godverdomme, how does this work again? It does have a player ID, I just don't use it apparently. So we can do this dot player ID. Oh my god. I might get away with this quite easily. Yeah, so my projection is just a stupid database table, so I need to make sure that I can insert it that way as well. So I keep the player ID. And here we just want to include it as well. Player ID. And that's the one that I wanted to add. And it can be a player ID, I think. That I don't really know. Yeah, we can use API of the leaderboard, so that's fine. So now we change our contract to the UI, which is good. Whatever. Also whatever. Shit, I didn't want to deal with IDs here. Oh, we've got the DAO tests here. Oh, yeah. probably don't care a whole lot about the IDs here, or do we? Okay, anyway, let's start making it compile again. Where was I? The DAO test or something? Yeah, in here we need to go like this, and then this one has already been modified, because we've got a player ID there. So that means our table of most challenges done leaderboard now also needs a new column called player ID. And we've got our v something most challenges leaderboard. So let's just add it in here as well. Player ID, which is a varchar, I don't care, not null. Because if I remember correctly, oh, it's a UUID. You can just say that it's a UUID. Okay. Excuse me. That we should also be able to see here then, huh? Yeah, nice. Nice. Okay. Wait. So let me throw this one away. And then when that's removed, voila, we can recreate it. It's still in the projections DB. Don't care which session. So when the sync is finished, it should be in there. Voila. Then that's that. What else did we miss? Oh yeah, so the insert into now also needs a player ID, which will bind to player ID, which is a field in a projected player. I don't know why. I didn't do it in here, but it doesn't really matter. Huh? Noise, then what? Yeah, then that came with a test, so I guess we can update that stuff. So the rank is by default set to null. I don't think we want to do that with the player ID, do we? So let's just do random. That's fine. We've got 3 different players, just like that. That should actually just be fine already. Then next bit. Here we've got, what's this test? A leaderboard test itself. Okay, yeah, we've got some random stuff here. So this one should be scallop ID, and this one should be decrypt ID. Same here. Here we don't check players or projected players. Okay. Is something else now not compiling? Now I have to think, because the moment I think what I want to do is I want to regenerate Yeah, I definitely want to clean out all of the events in the table, or in the event table. That's something I definitely want to do. So otherwise the regeneration will break. Will it even actually? No, the events contain. I just changed the projection, huh? And the events contain the necessary info, so I can actually, oh, that's nice, huh? I can just rehydrate this leaderboard and it should be okay. What the fuck is going on? Contains exactly, and then we need leaderboard related player IDs. So Scallop's player ID is this one. And I guess that works even though this is a leaderboard entry, which has a player ID, sort of different type, but it's just an alias for a UUID. And this player ID is also just a UUID, so that just works. That's a bit strange, but that's just how it works. Then we've got this one. Okay. And that should be all. How did I do that? Oh. Compile again. Here we are in the register player one. Again, it's just a leaderboard, and we just expect Scallop's player ID. Do we have that? We do not. Yeah. I guess what I could do is first check this and then assert or like get the what's it called? The ID. The way I do that here is I set it up as a var outside of the run blocking scope, so maybe I'll just do that instead. Wow, it's fine. Let's do that instead. Go. Okay, so we'll just call it player ID, I guess, or maybe Scallop's player ID. I don't know. Scallop player ID. And we assign it here. So let's make that into var that we say it's called this. It's a player ID, I guess. We use it. Oh. I guess we should have used it in registration, the player ID. That's where it makes the most sense, in fact. Same issue here, I guess. Oh, but here's core task player ID. Okay, more shit that's not compiling. I will need to restart my my backend after this. Oh man. I guess it's this one. Yeah. Oh, I've changed so many tests and I haven't run a single one of them. Now I'm afraid to run a full okay, let's restart it. And then I just want to see it work. Regenerate triggered with 4 players. So now my projection, this one, should contain player IDs. We've changed the controller as well. Yeah, so now we've got player IDs in here, hopefully. We should be able to inspect it using that. So before we do that, let's get rid of the crumble token. Do another login. Refresh. And now we can inspect that in our home model in the leaderboard. We also have player IDs. Ta-da! Great. Okay, now we can make links that click on this to challenge them. So, while that would mean UI stuff. So let's just run a clean install or something. Clean build. Let's go. Which will run all of the tests, and meanwhile we'll just change the UI. So I want to render links that link to the challenge of that player. That's what we set out to do. So in our base Elm, where we've got our leaderboard table, instead of just rendering text, let's render a link. And I don't know how you do that. So you do link and then what? With a URL and a label. The label can remain the entry.nickname. But it takes an element. And the other thing is a URL. So label is UI.text, something like that. And then this was just a string. Nee? Oh, I guess it needs to be equal signs. Oh, typo and label, classic. And this needs to be Is link something that takes? Yeah, okay. In that case, we probably want that stuff, and we do this. Then it should be rendered as links, which we can click on. Cool, cool, cool. I'm not sure you want links then actually, because those are actual URLs. I'm not sure if oh, it's difficult. So. So in any case, this returns a string. So it's probably something that I want. What is the second part, in fact? Query parameters. Okay, I don't want that. No, maybe it's fine. Okay, let's do this can be 3. Label equals, and then this part. And then we can just get rid of that, and it should be okay. Voilà. The URI builder stuff we need to import. I think it's so weird that it doesn't suggest that. Where did I put that stuff again? Navigation. So relative, yeah, challenge is actually good. And then instead of a hard-coded UUID, we use entry.playerId. And this just works because we already changed it? No. No, we didn't just yet. Player ID, which was a string, which is fine, I think. Now it is compiling, so it's gonna generate some links here. And I hope. Yeah. And we can just copy link and then, but I guess we don't really want that feature to copy it. If anything, you want to, yeah, no, this is not a link you want to copy at all, actually. I want to hard navigate to it. I want to do push URL when you click on it, not, I doubt that there is something in here that, okay. Let's move that also into the entry as link part. So that would be this. And then we can just change this at some point. So to do UI.link generates simple href, but we want to use nav.push URL, I think, because yeah, actually. It's not easy to do that, because then all of a sudden your entry also needs your nav key and whatever the fuck. So that means your leaderboard table needs that. Maybe this is better. I don't know. Okay, anyway, this should probably also be a navigation or inside navigation, just to build that URL. Whatever. We save, it's working in fact, and now we just need to make it a little prettier. So instead of using UI.text, let's do UI.lay or element or something, where we have attributes and then a child. Nee? Okay, it takes a single one. And then as a font, we do font.color given palette highlight or href maybe, which doesn't exist yet. And then again. This is so annoying. Okay, let's just pass it for now and then solve that at a later point. So here we just can use given palette as well. Oh yeah, that thing doesn't exist yet. So the href we need. And I think for now we just keep it the same as highlight. And maybe we want to underline. I don't really want. Why all of a sudden is it bigger though? It already was bigger probably. I'm so bad at the UI stuff. Fucking. Ali. What color do we choose? Ah, now it works. Son of a bitch. Holy. There we go. Then we'll just copy this. Can we? So this would be for hrefs. Ha. All right, then let's do another refresh. Log in again. Oh, Carmelita's logged in. We join the fray, we get redirected, and now we have to wait for the leaderboard to be redirected. Doema. But we can already challenge Scallop for duels. Saying next Wednesday at 9. Come at me, bruv. Challenge. Let's challenge this motherfucker again for 2v2. Oh, we don't wipe it. Shit. So we do the redirect, but we don't clear the input fields. That's in the challenge. We can fix that. That's okay. But maybe first we can commit this because it looks great. Son of a bitch. We've got failing tests. I think I know why that is. We don't clean the database, so that's probably why. Yeah, I don't care about that. We changed quite a lot here. But what we changed was we're now able to click on players in the leaderboard ranking in order to challenge them. Ja. Commit maar. And then we needed to wipe this, if I remember correctly. So in our challenge, when we do got perform challenge blah blah in the update function of that, so here we just immediately redirect to home with a model, but we want to first reset it. So like this, and then I don't actually know. We probably should write a function called reset or something, but I don't want to. Can we change these? So we do set on the model and it returns a model. Yeah, I think we can. Ooh, or there's an empty model here. Maybe we just do that. No, that's not what I want. Or is it? Should have used that as well in the other place, I guess, because this will always be correct. It's the initial model you want to show. So API failure also gets cleared. Pending challenges also get cleared. Yeah, I think this makes the most sense. I think we made a boo-boo in wherever we cleared that thing. I think it was in registration. Here we also did a update. Bam. A register player response. Voila. Nee. So we want to first use empty model and then also set the registration status to registered or something, even though we don't really use this anymore. So I guess just wipe it and then not use it anymore. So let's do this with model.key. And then I guess update the registration status of it or something, or just, yeah, no. So let's do reset model is equal to the stuff that we have here. So, and then refreshed model can be reset model, update with that. Okay. I don't think there's a lot here that, yeah, just an empty string, not registered, and then some resetting of fucking hell, what is that thing? Here, the list of registered players, yeah. An API failure and that we hit a token. Well, we don't want to wipe the token, I don't think, eh? Unless it's on. It's a bit too long. I'm afraid if I leave this, then it's gonna break, so I'm not gonna do this. Revert. And we'll just add a to-do or something. Maybe use empty model instead. But first check if we need to keep the token. Okay, the thing we did change was, already forgot. Right, wiping the empty model, okay. So that means let's navigate to the home page again. Check that we're logged in. Ah, seems to work. Ooh, and we are Karmeliet now, I think. So if we click on Karmeliet, we should be trying to challenge ourselves, and that won't work. Let's challenge Scallop again. All right. Now it is cleared, you see. So let's try that out. If we do versus Karmeliet, this should not work. Trala. Challenge. Ah, nice. It didn't redirect. And the reason for that being we got an error. Bad request. You cannot challenge yourself. Allez, not in this scramble.gg. So maybe we should exclude this link or something. That way we've got a better UI. Whatever. All right. I think it's complete. Cool. I never thought that would work. Ali, that I would be able to finish it, but here we are. Wiping, or actually resetting the model of the challenge page after successful challenge. Voila. Whatever. So if I wipe the database for the projected player, I guess it's this one, huh? Most challenges done, yeah. And I run this test again. I guess it's gonna work. Although nope, this just works. I wonder why. Because here, yeah, no, don't get it. There's nothing in the database. Yeah, but that's the thing. So in the DAO test, the database initially needs to be empty, but then afterwards there's no transaction that was committed or something. Maybe that's why. I cannot, honestly, I cannot explain. Ah, voila. So yeah, indeed, they will always roll back. But of course, if there's already data in the challenges done leaderboard, then it's gonna fail. So that's why it was failing, in fact. Great. Cool. All right, I'm really happy with the progress so far. Oh, we can get rid of the dummy challenge button now. Nice. Let's do that real quick. So in home, we've got an outline. There's a view part. View challenge button. We get rid of this. We don't need to or add a row where we do the view challenge button. And that's it. Hoppa, wij ermee. Nice. Commit. Fire removed. Actually got rid of unnecessary dummy challenge button. All right, really cool. This was a good session for me. Look at this. we can just make this green. Oh my god. That means we can move this to done. Holy shit. Do a celebration for that. Okay, next is going to be this part. A challenged player can accept a challenge. Yeah. All right, that's it for today. Thank you again, as usual, for watching. Yeah, hope to see you again next time. Don't really remember when is next time. Ooh. So next week I'm interviewing someone at work, like a tech interview. It's gonna be in Kotlin, I hope. But yeah, I hope to be home soon enough, and then usually I think I will be able to stream at 7:30. All right. Coolio. See you next week then, normally. Thanks for hanging out, and I wish you all a nice end of the week, or rest of the week. Until next time. Peace.